Hello there everybody, Adam Cleary here and welcome back to the What Culture Quiz Wonderdome. And yeah, you're right, it has been a while since we've done one of these. Now if you're somehow new here, allow me to explain the rules to you as simply as I possibly can. I will present you with a series of possibly interesting, maybe entertaining questions, and you will have 10 seconds to come up with the answer. No clever gimmicks or anything like that, you just have to remember whether or not you got it right and keep a tally of it as you go. Then at the end, I'll tell you whether or not your life is worth living. Today's subject concerns that most often lied about subject of tag team brothers. Now you've seen them before. Tag teams get put together. They are two men who look vaguely similar and we are told they are related. But half the time, they are not. Thus, one of the most consistent mysteries in the entire business is, are these wrestling brothers real or kayfabe?
Bloody good quiz.
The team of Matt and Nick Jackson have taken the world by storm in recent years with all them super kicks and them flashy trousers, and they even debuted together dressed as a pair of chickens. True story, but is the whole idea that they are legitimately brothers a true one? Time starts now. Time's up, and yes, they are. They are actually brothers, Matthew and Nicholas Massey. It gets harder from here, don't worry. Right, moving on, the fabulous Rougeau, who I have definitely heard of, arrived in the WWF in the late 80s, and they used to wave these little flags around, didn't they? That was quite nice. The idea was they were this pair of clean-cut, clean-shaven super faces, but were they actually brothers? That's the question we're asking consistently throughout this video, and your time starts again now. They don't look like it. Time is up, and if you bought my whole "they don't look like it" shtick for one solitary second, then you are wrong, my friend, because not only are they literally actually brothers, they are also the actual Rougeaus, the Rougeaus, Jacques and Raymond. Okay, moving on, and I'm already starting to worry about how many different ways I can think to ask are these two men brothers, but never mind, we push on. Ole Arn Anderson presented as four of the Anderson brothers with Lars and Gene, all presented legitimately as brothers. Now put those other two out of your mind for a second, because Jesus Christ, Lars, nobody is buying that for a second. Were Ole and Arn legitimately brothers? That is the question here, and here comes the timer. That's it, time up, and I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but no, none of the Anderson brothers were even remotely related to each other in any way, shape, or form, not even Carl. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. It's the Singh brothers now, and the pairing that has probably spent the most time in WWE's main event scene together. Let that sink in. And with that said, I'd like to move on as quickly as humanly possible here. So, Samir and Sunil, are they actually brothers? Where's that clock? That's all the time I'm going to allow on that one, because real friends don't let their friends remember Jinder's title run. And yes, they actually are real brothers, Harvinder and Gurvinder, and they're from Canada. The more you know. Here we are, an easy one now, Gemini. Now they have to be brothers, don't they? Because their name is literally Gemini, and that's the whole mythological story about the two twin brothers. WWE wouldn't waste that gimmick on two men who weren't even related, would they? Would they? Would they? Time is up, and the answer is no. WWE would not waste that gimmick on two men who weren't related, because they were, yes, actually brothers. Twins no less. Not identical twins, but still twinsies. Twinsies nonetheless. Mike and Todd Shane. Or Shane and Mike Todd. I'm never sure. The colons now, and yes, I know that Colon is like this traditional Spanish name, and it means dove or something beautiful like that. But it's also the colon, isn't it? The part of your arse that regulates a lot of your pooing. Anyway, Primo, Epico, the Shining Stars, Los Matadores, whatever they're called these days, are they really, 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 really brothers? Time is up, and we're going to fall out here, you and me. We're going to fall out because the article version of this does say yes, they are really brothers in real life, but they're not, are they? They're cousins, and that's not the same. So though it's a kayfabe brother thing, not a real brother thing, because cousin is not the same as brother. Like, think how much better it would have been for Jamie and Cersei if they were just cousins. That would have been way, way less weird. I'm not saying they're doing that. I'm just saying they're cousins. That's not. You can have half a point. Okay, so time for the Dudley boys now, and I know you sat there at home and you're thinking, well, this one's a bit easy, isn't it, Adam? Because they've got some quite striking physical differences about them, so there's no way they're brothers. But let's mix it up a bit. See, the Dudleys were a big old family, weren't they, back in ECW and then in WWF. So we're going to expand this one out a bit to Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, Spike Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, Chubby Dudley, Dances with Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley, Snot Dudley, and Jenna Jameson. Were any of them brothers at any point for real during their run? That's the question. Here's the clock. No, none of them were, ever, obviously. Hey, so this one's timely, isn't it? 2019 WWE Hall of Fame inductees, brothers Booker T and Stevie Ray, collectively known as Harlem Heat. They were 10-time WCW Tag Team Champions, and they also went by the names of the Ghetto Blasters and the Ebony Experience, because the 90s were a different time. Now, weirdly, they were billed as being brothers despite breaking the only golden rule of wrestling, that is, make sure you both have the same surname. And as you can clearly see, T and Ray are not the same words. So that begs the question, were they really brothers? Because that's the video. Time's up, and would you look at that? Booker and Lash Huffman were legitimately brothers in real life, despite not having any of the same names when they were wrestling, which is a bit of a head scratcher, that one, but still quite a nice story. Lash is Booker's older brother to the tune of 6 years, which is nice, that, isn't it? Brothers and stuff. Next up, we have the Steiner Brothers, Scott and Rick, and I mean, come on, bit obvious this one, isn't it? The clue is literally in the name. They are the Steiner Brothers. Not going to be much of a quiz this, Adam, is it? If everybody you put in front of us has the word brothers in their literal name. So yeah, bit obvious this one, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it a bit obvious? Well, you tell me. That's why we're here. Time's up, and you're not going to believe this, but actually, the Steiner brothers, yeah, they were actually, yeah, they are. They're actually really brothers in real life. Scott and Rick. All right. Actually quite a hard one now. The Smoking Gunns, Billy and Bart. Now, they were billed as a pair of rootin' tootin' cowboy brothers, but then they split up, they went their separate ways. Bart Gunn left the company in like 1998 after he got his teeth punched down his throat by Butterbean, and then Billy Gunn stayed there for ages and kept the name Gunn, so that does sort of imply it was legit. Like, he would have probably lost that name if it was, like, you know what I mean? Like, it should be, there's more there than meets the eye, isn't there? So, yeah, your time and, well, hell, the rest of your life starts now. Time's up, and I completely hold my hands up here. I got this one wrong when I did it on the website. I genuinely thought those two were brothers because look at them. They've got the same, haven't they? It's just the bone structure. Like, it's just, they do look like brothers. Anyway, Billy Gunn's name is Monty Sop in real life, and that's my favorite fact ever. Okay, so up next we have the Von Erichs, one of the biggest, most famous, most illustrious families to ever be in professional wrestling. I think like over 10 people have used the name Von Erich over the years. Like, don't worry, I'm not going to get into the whole Von Erich curse thing or anything like that, or go down the route of every single person who's ever used the name, but like that core group of like Kerry, Mike, Chris, David, Kevin, and Jack, were they all legitimately brothers, or was it just a bit of a wrestling thing? Clock, please. Your time is up, and I'm very pleased to tell you that, yes, they all actually were each other's legitimate brother, the 6 sons of Fritz Von Erich. The man had 6 children, and they were all boys. That is some aggressive sperm, that is. We'll leave it there. It's now time for the Viking the war machine, the War Raiders. Hansen and Rowe and Ivan and Thomas and Umbra, I'm never quite sure what they're called these days, but you know who I mean. Now, unlike all the other teams on this list, they've never actually been billed in wrestling as a pair of brothers, but yet they do come as a pair. They've spent most of their careers tagging together, so are they brothers? That's the question that I want you to answer. If you haven't got that by this point, it's been a weird video for you. Time's up, and no, of course they're not actually brothers. Somebody would have called them the Viking Brothers by now, which incidentally is probably the only gimmick WWE haven't used for them. So, yeah, Vince, if you're watching, and I know you are, you can have that one for free. Edge and Christian now, and I was gonna do this whole "you think you know them" bit for this, but I've been flapping around with that for about half an hour, and it just doesn't quite work. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Now, a little bit of a history lesson for you, my friends. Edge and Christian trained together, went through the territories together, got signed by the WWF together, where Edge debuted on his own first, where he feuded with Gangrel, who brought in Christian, who was revealed to be his brother. Then they ganged up on Edge, beat the piss out of him, and then asked him to come home and start the Brood, where he did, and the rest is, of course, history. Now, I forgot about pretty much all of that until I had to research this article, but my question for you is it true? The brothers bit. Is the brothers bit true? The rest is true, obviously. Time's up, and yes, this absolutely devastated teenage me when I first found out about it, but no, it is not true. Edge and Christian are lifelong Bessie buds, but they are not brothers. Which is kind of a brother in my eyes, but not for the purposes of this quiz. No points. So, the question you have to ask yourself with the Brothers of Destruction entry here is, how much of that story do you believe? That The Undertaker grew up in a funeral home where Paul Bearer had a secret affair with his mother, who gave birth to Kane, and then The Undertaker burned down the funeral home, killing his parents, scarring Kane all over his body, who Paul Bearer then hid in a mental asylum until he made his debut in a wrestling match. How much of that do you believe is true? All of it? None of it? Literally just the brothers part? Where's that clock? Time's up, and my God, can you imagine if I got to stand here right now and go, yes, all of that, everything I've just said, that really happened. That's why they did a wrestling feud about it, because it was all true. Well, alas, no, none of it is. It's all just very, very wrestling. They're not brothers, even slightly. And the big question you have to ask yourself with this one is, Cody Rhodes a liar? Like, I was at Double or Nothing. It was a hugely emotional moment after their match where he said he just needed his older brother. But was it all based on a lie? Just because they've worked together in the past, are they not really brothers? It's some kind of weird wrestling cousins thing. Is it just because both their last names are Dust completely coincidentally? This is the last question. Make it count. That's it. Stop thinking. Stop Googling. I can see what you're doing. They are, in fact, yes. They are actually half brothers. They are brothers? They're half brothers. I didn't mean to research this before I came in, but my God, who has the time? And that is, sadly, my friends, all we have time for today here in the What Culture Quiz Wonderdome. Let us know what you made of it, as well, more importantly, as your score in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. I am truly humbled by your patronage. I've been Adam Cleary, and I'll see you soon.